Good evening and welcome to Moncton Magic Basketball live from the Moncton Coliseum. I'm Scott Squires. My broadcast partner is Dave Tingley, and this evening an interdivision matchup as the 5-23 Kitchener-Waterloo Titans come in to take on the Moncton Magic, who sit in second place in the Atlantic with a record of 17-14. And David, both these teams coming off losses at Halifax Hurricanes. Moncton Magic was last weekend. KW was last night at Scotiabank Centre in Halifax. What do you look for a couple of keys this evening?
Well, it's for the KW Titans. It's how do they bounce back on a back-to-back is a tough. We talked about in the pregame show. It's a tough road to hoe no matter what the circumstances. But coming in with a brand new coach, Cavell Johnson here, a coach in his second game, and some injuries. Then we're going to get to those here. They're banged up, and with the losing record, and what you want to do here, KW and Cavell Johnson, we talked today in a little interview that we had this afternoon on their ride up. He wants to make sure that these guys are difficult to play against. Set the tone for next year. These guys are looking to next year. Let's be honest. The playoffs are a long shot for them, even if they win out. So look to next year. Build a culture. Build a team that's with a positive outlook for next season, and be difficult to play against these teams the remaining part of this year.
Well, the gentleman out at center court getting ready to tip off. What a force he has been for the Kitchener-Waterloo Titans. Derek Hall, all 7 foot, 230 pounds of him. He's second on the team in scoring at 17.7 a game. Not surprising, leading the team in rebounding at 11.1 a game, and he'll tip off against Denzel Taylor. But certainly a long drink of water is Derek Hall, no doubt about it.
You are fascinated to be in the same building with a 7-footer. You've been talking about it all day. You're loving it.
I do. It harkens back to my days reading the Guinness Book of World Records. I always like the biggest, the tallest, the shiniest.
But if you guys, if fans out there haven't watched him play before, he's not your regular run-of-the-mill 7-footer. He's mobile. He shoots the three and he makes it from out there. He can do a lot of things, and he wins the tip here. But it's going to go to Moncton.
And he kind of looks at Denzel Taylor with a kind of a cheeky little grin after he reached up over top of Denzel and swatted that ball from the tip out of bounds. So it's Moncton Magic ball. Here we go. Fans on their feet. They'll stay that way until the Magic hit their first bucket. And we're underway. Corey Allman from outside tries to get it started early. Moncton wearing their home grays with the white. Here's Jay Will. Fingertips it in. And are they going to count it? They
are going to count it. And Jay Will looked up and was surprised. Look at the wide open lane in front of me, and he took advantage and went to the rack for two, and that's a good sign. Moncton fans get to take a breather and sit down nice and early tonight. It was a longer wait against Halifax here on Sunday before they got to sit down. It was a longer wait, waiting for anything to fall against Halifax.
Our officiating crew this evening, Dan Patterson, Dave McGrattan, and Todd McInnes. And just to finish the thought on the unis, Moncton wearing their home grays with the white and black trim going left to right on your screen, and Kitchener-Waterloo in those snazzy-looking royal blue.
I would argue we got the two best. I would argue we had the two best uniforms in the league here tonight in the building.
I would have to lean towards agreeing with you on that. Kitchener-Waterloo wearing Titans across the chest. They are Titans, and they're going right to left, and they're in their offense now. And Denzel steps in front of that. Here's Corey, tries to chase that ball down. Takes it to the corner, fakes the shot, and does the Corey Allman move, which is try to get the defender to commit and then just lean into him.
I saw that coming. As soon as it fumbled out of his hands, I kind of saw the play out in front of me. I think he's going to back it up to the three-point line and do a shot fake, and sure enough, he was not very often am I as smart as Corey Allman on the basketball floor, but I'll take credit for that. I saw that coming as prescient. I can't prove it, of course, but.
So the foul going on Tremar Sutherland, his first.
And we saw down here in front of us on that first KW possession is the two matchups that are pretty exciting tonight, which is Justin Hurt against Terry Thomas and Denzel Taylor against Derek Hall. And I think those two matchups are going to tell the tale of how this game goes in a large part tonight.
Corey hits from the line. It's 5 on the board now for the Magic. Just underway here. 36 seconds is all that's come off the clock here in quarter number 1. Glad you're with us on a Wednesday evening. Want to welcome in fans of the Moncton Magic watching online as well. Fans of the Kitchener-Waterloo Titans, welcome to the broadcast. Nice to have you on board with us. So Kitchener-Waterloo bring the ball up the floor. This is Ed Horton. Gets it up ahead for Justin Hurt. Keep an eye on him. Coach Salerno pointed him out as one of the real dynamic performers for this Kitchener-Waterloo team.
Yeah, if his shots going, he called them almost unguardable.
Here's Hall outside. There's Hurt. Speaking of that shot, off the back of the rim. Shot clock was almost at 0. Maybe had to rush it just a little. Anthony Anderson now, double A, will bring it up. Takes a cut in toward the middle, kicks it to the corner for Jay Will. Couldn't get that one to drop and rebounded smartly there by Greg Morrow. Morrow will just stop it up now, give it to Horton. Quick ball movement. Hurt baseline, and they're going to say that he stepped out down in the corner.
A little item that you'll see here that sticks out for these KW guys is how many of them are lefties. And that's it's an item of just kind of trivia, but it's also something you have to play because the lefties are kind of awkward to play against for guys that sometimes don't play against a lot of lefties, and they got 6 in the lineup, one of which isn't playing tonight in Ahmad Starks, but they got 5 in the lineup here tonight.
Here's Williams again, trying to continue a solid start. Nice little tap in off the miss as Denzel Taylor was there.
And he's looking more active tonight, and that's why I called him the player to watch for the Magic in our pregame show. He's got to have that activity, higher level activity tonight. Bring it against this big front line.
Speaking of bringing it, Hall now takes it into Taylor. Taylor falls down. Morrow goes up against Williams. Tried to cut into the lane, but Thomas comes back the other way. Look at Terry! Hammers it down! Terry Thomas, primal screen coming early.
Woo-hoo. Talking about splitting the defense. Like they were standing still, a couple of pylons, and Terry with the hammer dunk to get the fans in it early.
And there it is. Splitting the pylons in blue and hammering it down, and Coach Cavell Johnson doesn't like the way the first 2 minutes have gone. He calls a quick timeout.
Yeah, that is an explosive start by the Magic, exactly what they were looking for, and they just have a pep in their step that they didn't have against Halifax, and this is going to be something that the coach kind of talked about. They seem to have this, not a mental block against Halifax, but it's almost like they play the game a little differently when those guys are in the building on the opposite side of the floor. When they got to have that attitude of let's play fast and loose and up tempo and with excitement and with enthusiasm we play with against the rest of the league. So this will be a good sign for them, turning it around nice and early here in 10 quick ones in 2 minutes flat.
And in terms of scoring on the season, KW 102.2 points per game average. That's 9th best in the NBL. A little bit better for the Moncton Magic, 105.5 points a game, ranking 7th overall.
Now, last night, fans of both teams here, KW, you're familiar if you watched your team last night in Halifax. They got down by 27 and came back, and they had a shot. Justin Hurt had an open 3 with about 2.5 minutes left to cut that to 4, which would have made that really tight. And they got as close as 7 and lost by 12. But they're certainly not out of it just off a bad start here, as they proved last night.
Hurt lobs it up into the hands of Horton. He spins around. Quick zip outside to Derek Hall. Hall lumbers his way in, puts the knuckleball floater up, and then gets the tap back.
See, he's got those moves. He can put the ball on the floor and do a floater, and he did kind of a Euro step last night in the lane. He's got all the stuff.
Yeah, he's very athletic and mobile for a big man. Horton tried to zip it back out to the top. That's going to be an over and back.
Tipped by a Magic player, so it's going to remain with KW.
It was indeed. So 9:24 to go. 10-2 early lead for the Magic here on a Wednesday night from the Coliseum. And there was Hall trying to back in Taylor. And the foul's called on Denzel. That's his first.
It's important to watch how big guys guard each other in the post. Referees are going to allow you to have one arm, your forearm into his back as long as you're not pushing. But once you get 2 hands down there and start grabbing and pushing, that's when they're going to start calling it.
Not often you see Denzel look that short, but when you're 6'8" and you're up against a 7-footer, you look like It's a size mismatch.
It does. He's got that high hair, though.
So at the 9-minute mark here, 9 minutes left, and the ball turned over. Here comes Horton again. He's been active handling the ball early, dishes it off to the side. There's Sutherland, hits for 3. Tremar Sutherland, the native of Toronto, Ontario, by way of the University of Arkansas at Little Rock with the tray.
And he's one of these 3 and D guys. That's where basketball is headed. Can you play D and can you make threes? And he's a classic guy for this league. Good size at the kind of the 2-3 that he plays for them, and just a good Canadian player, one of the best in the league.
Terry faked the shot, dished inside. Denzel Taylor with a couple more in the paint.
And Terry's looking like he's really interested tonight. And he was really frustrated he was our player of the game kind of by default, the only guy in double figures against Halifax, but he wasn't happy with the way he played, and you could tell that in his post-game interview, and he's looking interested tonight big time.
Kitchener-Waterloo with the ball. Hurt again, puts the long-range shot up, bounces off the side of the rim, rebounded by Corey Allman. And it's Anthony Anderson now bringing it up into the Kitchener-Waterloo end of the floor. Anthony dishes to Terry. Look at Terry, head down, again feeding Denzel. Denzel tried to swat away and get his own rebound, but now it's Morrow. Morrow, nice little spin move.
Yeah, that's a pretty move by Morrow down low, and he's another good Canadian that the KW Titans have. He's gotten a start the last couple games, normally comes off the bench, but performed well yesterday, and off to that was a pretty move. Get things going for him today.
12-7, Magic lead, 7:30 to go here, quarter one. Magic and the Titans, and Terry goes in hard. A big collision there, and I think it's Morrow that went down just in behind.
Yeah, he took the harder blow. He took the harder blow there. He hit Terry, and then on the follow-through, Terry gave him a good shot.
And he's cut, I think.
Yeah, he might be. Oh, yeah, he is for sure. He's gonna have to come out, and Denzel James is gonna make his first entry here.
So Morrow gets some attention there. He's got a little leakage happening up around that right eyebrow area. So he's being tended to on the Kitchener-Waterloo bench, and as you mentioned, into the game.
Not going to deter him from sticking his nose in and being a hard-nosed defender. That's his game.
Denzel James gets it up to Sutherland. Sutherland right into Anthony Anderson, and Jeremy Williams swats that away with an emphatic pump of the arm.
And Double A did a really good job by sliding over there, taking a bump, giving Jeremy enough time to come over and be the eraser on the weak side. So nicely done on both accounts there by the Magic. Got back.
13 on the shot clock. Here's Hurt. Lobs it outside there to Hall. Hall, no problem putting it on the floor. He's got some moves. The big man follows it up. Couldn't get the second chance to go and hustles after the rebound, but lost it. Here's Terry again. Off glass, rolls around, hits the bottom of the basket. Another two for Terry.
Yeah, once Terry gets going full speed, I don't know. Al Stewart's the quickest guy in the league. I think at top speed, once a guy's sprinting, I don't know if there's a faster guy end-to-end than Terry Thomas.
I'm telling you, he reminds me of Le'Veon Bell. He puts the head down, he can stutter step through the line, he can make a tough run. And speaking of tough run, there's Justin Hurt going through the lane and getting a bucket.
Shows you what you need to do if you got a messy close. That was a messy closeout there by Terry, and if you give him a messy closeout, he's going to kill you.
Corey Allman, he must have been wanting to chat because he dials up the three.
That's his first one, and again, the Magic have done such a good job running just the same kind of weak side stuff for him on the same side of the floor, get him moving left where he's comfortable.
And comfortable is Tremar Sutherland again answering back as the two teams trade trays.
Yeah, he was on two of my all-star teams at my mid-season report, and one was the all-defensive team. And
Williams, Will with the thrill, three more, and all of a sudden it's a downtown dart show here on both sides of the floor.
And the other team Tremar was on was one of my all-defensive teams, but KW's struggling at that end right now.
21-12 from the corner. James hits the three. Holy macaroni, it's like the three-point shootout at the All-Star game right now.
Everything going down.
Anthony Anderson now weaving through a crowd to Jeremy Williams, to Corey Allman. Corey, bounce pass inside to Jay Will. Williams had an arm right in his face. And the tough defense there from Derek Hall right over top of Jeremy Williams, and Coach Salerno wants to talk about it.
Yeah, it looks to me like it was a good call. I mean, he was straight up. His hand looked like his palm was on the ball, and sure, he did follow through, but I think he had all ball there if I'm not mistaken. So Coach Salerno doesn't agree with me either, I don't think, but looked like a good defensive play by Derek Hall. Not a big shot blocker, but that's what he can do. He can certainly can intimidate you with his size.
Quick ball movement now. Sutherland into the corner for James. Hall right in the paint, spins around. Little sky hook there a la Dirk Nowitzki. My goodness, Derek Hall, smooth as silk.
Yeah, and that's tough to stop. If he goes to his right hand, there's nothing you can do. You got to hope he misses.
Terry Thomas now, and into the game, Juan Patillo seeing his first action, the newest member of the Moncton Magic. He wears 32 in gray. Terry bangs that one around, rebounded there by Hall, and here comes Hurt. 1-on-2. Hurt makes the nice little fake. Shot wouldn't go. Terry grabs the rebound, Anthony up the floor for Moncton. Into the corner. Corey dials it up, and he gets the answer at the bucket.
And that was a tough one. He had to put a little extra arc on that with Derek Hall on the closeout, but good hit ahead by Double A, and Corey found the bottom.
2 times Al Stewart getting ready to check into the game. 4:15 to go in the first quarter. It's a 7-point lead for the Magic, 24-17. There's Hurt through a crowd, puts it up. Thomas swats it away.
Good recovery by Terry.
Denzel bounced past to Patillo. Tried to make the little move underneath, and it was knocked away. And the Titans with some pace back the other end now as the track meet gets going here. As Ed Horton took it up, and Hall made sure it found a home.
And KW's got some athletes. If you get them on you miss a bunny like that, you get a run out.
Terry charges his way in through the defense, up and in for Terry, and Terry looking very good here in this first quarter. Sutherland takes it in strong against Anthony Anderson. They're going to get the bucket. Hoop, Herm, and Sutherland will go to the line.
Man, I'm working up a sweat here just watching this game. This is entertaining.
It's a great pace, and now we got wholesale changes coming here for the Titans as they're going to have 3 out, 3 in. Checking into the game, Dominique Phillips, as well as Nigel Titer and Anthony Miles all onto the floor. Horton, Hall, and I didn't see who the other player was that headed to the bench for Kitchener-Waterloo. Jason Caliste into the game for Moncton along with Al Stewart. So a bunch of new personnel on the floor right now with 3:36 to go. And now a 4-point lead as the and one was good.
Dominic Phillips in the game as well for KW, and he's going to be a familiar name to Magic fans that were following the team in the preseason. He was on the roster. He's a guy that Coach Salerno wanted to keep, just was a victim of the numbers game at the point guard spot, but back in the league with KW.
Terry bangs it off the front of the rim, rebounded well there by Miles. Long pass lobbed forward, trying to catch up to it was Titer, but he couldn't squeeze that ball, and it goes out of bounds.
And Dominic struggled a little bit last night in Halifax. After coming off a 17-point game, 17.5 assist game on Saturday against Windsor, he struggled last night, was scoreless with 4 turnovers, and that was another careless one there. Not a good position. Even if Nigel Titer caught it, he's not an offensively gifted guy like that. He's a tough, hard-nosed finisher, but in the open floor like that wasn't passing him into success, but that was a pass into success. And Jason Caliste from that spot that he loves so much, Scott.
29-22, 7-point advantage for for Moncton. Sutherland trying to answer right back as they seem to want to answer each other 3 for 3. 2:45 to go. Caliste, who just hit that triple, gives it off to Al Stewart. 2-time native of Chicago, works that ball down, gets it into Terrell Baines. Baines onto the floor for the first time in a crowd. Outside for Caliste, thought about the shot, takes it on the floor instead, and a wild shot put up there as he had Titer in front of him as well as James.
Yeah, and Coach Cavell Johnson's given a clap that. Titer found himself kind of in no man's land and gave him a bump, but it was a good scrambling D there from KW. As Terrell Baines did a good job to find, looked like Jason Caliste there in the corner, or Terry, pardon me, in the corner, but good recovery from KW, and they forced a tough one from Caliste. Just a little unfortunate there. Titer trying to recover was a little off balance and gave him a bump.
So first trip to the line for Jason Caliste, and he hits the first. That makes it 30-22 for the Magic. Coach Joe Salerno giving a little instruction to his side.
And KW fans, Kevin Rogers was a game-time decision tonight, and obviously the decision was to keep him out. Hopefully he'll be back for games for a doubleheader on the Rock against St. John's, and they miss him. He's a force down low for them. Tough to handle.
KW has that ball knocked away. Al Stewart gets it ahead to Patillo. Patillo, he's strong, took it into a crowd. 3 Titans were there, and the ball gets knocked out of bounds as Patillo was charging his way towards the bucket.
And he split the defense well, but good hands by Titer there, and gonna have to earn it with an out-of-bounds play here.
2:13 left on the clock, quarter number 1. 9-point lead for the Moncton Magic. 31-22, inbounded with 16 on the shot clock. Jason Caliste being guarded there by Miles. Over for Terry. Not quite strong enough, kept alive there by the Titans, and up the floor comes Phillips.
And the way he's attacked the rim so far tonight, Terry, settling those for those jumpers, I would make that a last resort if I was him right now, the way he looks attacking the rim.
Here's Terry, speaking of attack, up to the bucket, gets the shot to go. He'll go to the line, and Terry talking to the KW bench just a little.
Listen to me. He listened to me, Scott. Attack the rim, Terry. Get him to go, and he's strong enough to finish, and you're going to have to do better than that against Terry Thomas. A little brush like that, you're going to have to really get him good to keep that from being a three-point play because he's a finisher.
Well, Terry must have heard me mention in our Twitter Periscope pregame that we did that for the first time this season. He's dipped below 20 points per game on his average. Still the leading scorer on the Moncton Magic at 19.9. But seems to be intent on getting up over 20 points in this game, maybe even in the first half.
I think we're going to have a bunch of guys over 20 points in this game at the pace we're going right now. KW slowed a little bit, and they found themselves in a 12-point deficit there now.
Miles had it on the baseline outside to Phillips. Now it's James. Kalist out on him. Good battle underneath there between Titer and Baines. Anthony Miles steps back for three, the lefty. Back of the iron, no good. Rebounded, Patillo gets it into the hands of Al Stewart. Al, talking about slowing the pace, just methodically now up the floor, gets it to Patillo. Titer has a hand right in his face. Patillo steps back from the corner. Juan couldn't get that shot to drop. Rebounded by the Titans. Here comes Dominique Phillips. Phillips over on the side now, down into the corner. There's Morrow, checked back into the game after he got patched up there. Good to see number 12 in blue, Greg Morrow, back onto the floor.
And you see there again, Magic fans, what your new guy, Juan Patillo, likes to do. He likes to get that at the little bit extended post area, face up, and put the ball on the floor. He's real comfortable doing that.
Under a minute to play here. Kalist well downtown. No Kathrist on that one.
That was a bit early and a bit far. You can get something going to the basket here like they have.
Little triple team on Phillips. He gets the ball right back. Takes it in again all the way over to the other side. There's Morrow. Kicked out top now for James. Denzel James steps back, got the defender to commit. Shot's no good. And there's Patillo, the defending rebound champ from last year, showing you some good defensive position to get that rebound. And up, oh, goodness me, that was up high into the air. I don't know if it got deflected on the way up, but it was Patillo going in against Titer, and then the ball just kind of seemed to squirt skyward.
Well, he wanted to put two hands on that ball to go for a finish, but someone had a hold of his left one, and so the right one had no control of the ball. But yeah, so he was a little hand-holding going on there through the lane with Juan, but he got the free throw to go. And you see on the defensive boards, that's two times in a row that Titer actually had inside position. But Juan is so athletic, didn't matter. He skied way above Titer and snagged two in a row in the lane.
And Patillo, good, speaking of two in a row, from the line. Getting more and more accustomed to the Coliseum floor and to his teammates here. He's had a full week of practice under his belt now. That's only going to help Juan.
And they're comfortable with matching him up with smaller guys. He's here on Morrow.
And the follow from Titer as he jams it down through the cylinder as Morrow made the move, and then the nice follow-up from Nigel Titer.
And that's why it's always best to get that, be aggressive and get the ball into the paint, because even if you miss and you force guys to rotate, it gives chances for guys coming down the lane, and guys the size of Nigel Titer, they're going to hammer it down.
So I think we've already seen more scoring in the first quarter than we saw in the half of Halifax and Moncton last weekend. So 36-24 after one quarter. Kind of a quick assessment of both sides. First, Kitchener-Waterloo.
Well, a turnover story is one we're looking at for them. 5 already. They've given the Magic, and they've scored off each and every one of those turnovers. They've transferred 5 turnovers into 10 big points. So that's something. And pretty much everything else is even on the rebounding side. Points in the paint, things like that. So really that's the story for KW early. Take better care of the ball. Give yourself a chance to get that ball up on the rim. Because right now, Magic have the distinct advantage in that. They've taken care of the ball, only 1 turnover for the Magic.
Leading scorer for KW in that first quarter, Tremar Sutherland with 9. And then Derek Hall a little bit behind. He had 4 points and leading the way. No surprise the way that he started that quarter. Terry Thomas with 10 on 4 of 7 shooting from the floor. And Corey Allman right behind with 9 points, including 2 of 3 from outside the arc. So a 12-point lead and a pretty good start at home for the Magic as they try to shake off that loss last week. That game last week, the 81-73 loss right here at the Coliseum, the lowest point total by quite a bit actually for the Moncton Magic on the season. So it appears that they've already shaken the rust of that off.
Yeah, and it was just such a slog to watch after that first quarter, which was a fairly good scoring first quarter, and then just from that, those second, third, and fourth quarters all just got the energy wasn't in the building. Just it was a bricklaying convention from the perimeter, just shot after shot, in and out, and Halifax wasn't much better, but as far as shot making goes, but they just seemed to get what they wanted a little bit easier than the Magic, and they had a few more chances in the paint, and that was really your difference in the game. So tonight it really seems like the Magic they're just playing freer and easier, and just look more confident and far more aggressive, that's for sure.
So we'll get ready to start the second quarter. Titans will inbound the ball. Morrow puts it into the hands of Dominique Phillips. Young man from Woodbridge, Virginia, attended West Virginia State University, did 21 in blue, Mr. Dominique Phillips. Phillips steps around a bit of a screen there from Hall. Nowhere to go now, gets it to Hall. Right back to Phillips as they do a little give and go, and Phillips, tricky little shot to the left hand, no good. Here comes Duty Stewart. Nice little dish, gets it right back. Duty up and off glass, and Duty does well there.
3, you used it 3 times already. He'll be thrilled.
Give you the story behind the nickname for Al Stewart as we see smooth moves again. Derek Hall, seeing him up close, the big man, what a smooth operator he is.
Yeah, and he just beat Patillo down the floor and got to that. Terrell Baines just got to that spot and carved it out.
And Jennings tried to light it up from outside, bounced off the rim. Here comes Phillips once again. Dominique takes it in against Al Stewart, Mr. Two-time, outside for 3. Bang, bang off the rim, down into the hands of Jennings. 38-26 is your score, just a little over a minute off the clock here in the second quarter. Terrell Baines put that shot up. He had a good look, couldn't get the shot to fall. And here comes Phillips once again. Dominique swings it over there now for Denzel James. Back to Dominique Phillips. Into the hands of Hall. Kick out to Miles. Miles lost the handle, gets it back. 10 on the shot. Hall kicks it over for Phillips. He spins around now and charged into Al Stewart just a little. And Dominique Phillips down to the floor. But just to finish that story on Al Stewart, two-time, of course, the two-time NBL Defensive Player of the Year.
And he's got nicknames coming out everywhere.
He does. He's got them. If he had $1 for every nickname, he wouldn't need to play basketball. But we talking to him beforehand, and I said, what's your first nickname you ever remember? And he said Duty, and that actually is his handle on Instagram.
Okay.
And he said it was from right back to when he was a little child. There was a show on in the Chicago area, and his uncle gave him the name Duty. I guess it was part of this kid's show, the Bozo Show or something, Al was saying. So from a very young age, even perhaps as he was only a few seconds old, his uncle gave him the nickname of Duty, and it has stuck ever since. And doing some duty there is Kalist as he does his job and sinks the triple.
That king of the segues, Scott Squires. And the J stands for jumper, and it's fallen for Jason. It's his second 3 already.
Hall gives it to Morrow, sees an opening. Quick closeout there, shot's no good. Jennings flies in to get the rebound. And Brent Jennings, BJ back the other way, stops, pops off the back of the rim. Rebounded by Hall. Derek Hall all over this floor. And he's so tall, I think he only needs 3 strides to get from one end to the other. And they tried to bounce that ball over to Phillips and went off the foot of Al Stewart.
You can tell Derek, he's doing this rim run every time down the floor. He's busting his butt and getting to that tin right underneath the orange circle and planting himself and making people move him.
So James and Phillips out of the game. Ed Horton back onto the floor. And we're getting a chance now to see Kyle Arsenault, former AUS star with Acadia University. He wears 15 in blue. And Hall tried to swing it over, and there was no less than 3 Moncton Magic players right in his face.
And he got Patillo off the floor and did take advantage of it, but that's what's going to happen. If he's going to pound it a couple times, he's probably going to have Magic guys running at him.
Stepping up is Horton. Baines gets that rebound. Good job there by Terrell Baines underneath the rim.
And great box out.
Al Stewart now looking for somewhere to go. Gets it to Kalist. Kalist backs in Arsenault. The 2 Canadians come together. Kalist steps back baseline. Not enough energy on that shot, and it's rebounded, and Miles comes up with some pace. Miles puts on the brakes now and tried to get it to Hall, and that was a weird combination. Hall ran into Patillo, the ball went off his shoulder, and back to KW, and then Arsenault, that's what he can do.
That's what he does, yeah. That's pretty much all he does, but he does it really, really well.
He did it at Acadia for so many years, and now he's doing it here for the KW Titans. And Jennings tries to answer right back. That rolls around and comes back out. Jeremy Williams will be checking back in here shortly, along with Denzel Taylor. Meanwhile, Miles, another one of those southpaws, hits it from outside, takes a quick peek up at the clock.
And an avalanche of left-handers coming at you, and he's another one. And yeah, he banged it through, and the Magic are, again, falling into this shot selection mode of jumpers.
Here's Patillo, baseline, tried to bounce it through. Arsenault was there. Tough work to get underneath that basket with Hall there. And Hall now, just the gentle floater, banks it off the glass and in, and Derek Hall continues to impress.
And I think some of the Magic players are looking to the bench for a timeout, and it's not coming as of yet. I think Coach Salerno, he's up off the bench, though. If it goes much longer, he's going to call one here.
5-point lead for the Magic, 41-36. Here's Patillo, top of the key. No good, and there's Hall getting it forward now to Morrow. One-on-one, Morrow against Caliste, and Caliste does a great job.
Does he ever.
And then blasts it off of Morrow's chest and out of bounds. And now we've got some major personnel changes coming here for Moncton. Denzel Taylor, Jeremy Williams, Terry Thomas into the game. Juan Patillo, Brent Jennings out.
We've got a couple of these names are really struggling. Brent Jennings really struggling to find his shot now. He's going to go to the bench, and he's 0 for the game so far. But they're settling for jumpers. Get something going to the glass. Be aggressive.
And now we've got a foul away from the ball. I think they're going to get Denzel Taylor again, and that's the second on Denzel.
And that was careless and unnecessary. I'm not sure if Coach Salerno's shaking his head doesn't agree with the call or at what Denzel was doing, but he had his arms intertwined, and he didn't really need to. It was unnecessary.
Under 7.5 to play now. 7:22 and counting down here in the half. Horton steps back off the little dish from Hall, bounces it off the front of the iron and in, and as Coach Salerno sees that shot go down and sees the lead dwindle even more, he calls time.
Yeah, and he's definitely unhappy with something calling. He's in the ear of the officials about the Denzel screen that got called, but from my point of view here, I mean, Denzel had his arm hooked, and I think the argument is that they were hooking Denzel's arm and caught the referee. But that's sometimes a tough one to see, and if a referee's looking late, then he might fall for something, but that's just one call. I don't think the referees are the story for the comeback here, the KW Titans, Scott.
So with the timeout here with 7:16 to go, it's 41-39, and a nice moment here recognizing the basketball junior girls AAA champions, part of that big Final 12 weekend. BMHS, you're a New Brunswick guy. What high school is that?
Bernice McNaughton High School.
Well, congratulations to Bernice McNaughton High School being the junior girls AAA champions for New Brunswick. A great moment for them as they come out to center court and are recognized here by the Magic.
And one of the coaches, Dr. Jeff Mowat, one of my good friends from our men's league, who comes and plays and puts lives at risk by coming and playing basketball with us. When if something happens to him, there's people going to go without required surgeries, so we take it easy on Mr. Mowat when he comes on the floor. We don't want anybody to put any lives at risk.
So a nice moment there recognizing the champs. 41-39. We'll see what the Magic have now coming out of that Joe Salerno timeout. Here's Caliste. Fakes the shot, got the defender in the air, puts it up. Tap back there, and Hall gobbles up the rebound and puts it into Morrow. Miles calling for it underneath the basket. He won't get it. Don't know if Morrow saw him or not. Hall now bounces it all the way back to Ed Horton. Horton, Williams defending on him. Horton puts the arm out, gets it into the corner. Back to Horton. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Tried to get it inside to Hall. Taylor with the good hands. And now back the other way, it's the Magic. Quick up for Jeremy Williams. Back to Stewart. Al, once in a while, will put it up from out there, decides to bounce it in instead, gets it right back. Al, to the left hand, rolls it in. Al Stewart, we've seen him do that before, Dave.
Yeah, well, have we ever? I mean, he's got that quick first step, and if he gets into the lane and you don't have good rotation, he can finish with either hand in there. A big guy, a little guy among the trees.
Well, I know that fans of the NBL have their individual teams that they enjoy following, but they also enjoy following other teams and watching the other games online. So as we are the only game in town tonight, already said hello to the Magic fans and the Titans fans. Hey, if you're fans of any other teams and you're watching our broadcast tonight, we certainly welcome you to the broadcast. Hope you're enjoying it as we see.
Find us on Twitter. I'm at Hoops Tingley, and my man here is at Josco, Johsco.
Short for John Scott, my first two names.
There you go.
So with 6:18 to go in the half, it's a 44-39 5-point lead, and Morrow from Kitchener-Waterloo itself hits that triple.
That's Arsenault, actually.
Or Arsenault, sorry, yes,
Yeah.
15, not 12.
From very deep.
And Kyle, that's his game.
And
Corey Allman,
Corey.
that's his
Yes.
game. Corey answers right back.
And there's Denzel again. Denzel's really been the only guy that's given Hall any trouble.
And Terry Thomas comes in to give a little swat of that ball from behind. Cavell Johnson, now the once player, now coach of the Titans, up off the bench, yelling out instructions. Hall just throws it off of Taylor to get the out of bounds, and they'll reset with the inbounds and 15 on the shot clock.
Denzel's really got the physicality to deal with Hall, and he's really working hard to get all the way around and deny him the ball.
I think Hall saying to the official that Denzel's tugging on his jersey. Hey, you got to do what you can. And there's Hall underneath, got Williams to fly by him, little delay, and then went to the soft left hand.
Yeah, and that's just not going to fly. You can't go. Denzel can't leave his man.
There's Denzel with the nice follow off the miss.
Yeah, Denzel's can't leave Hall that wide open. If there's a guy shot in the corner.
And now as Corey Allman tried to stop Horton, Horton got around him, went in, and I think they're going to call Denzel. That's his third.
Yeah, that's a tough call for the Magic, and we've been just talking about it. He's the only guy really that's been effective on Derek Hall, and that's a tough call there. But one that you're going to get every time, because Denzel was not straight up. So there was some body-to-body contact there, and it's going to have to be Kevin Farrell-Thomas try to give Mr. Hall some tough times down low.
Well, it's interesting. We talked about it in the pregame, and of course Anthony Cox, for personal reasons, had to head back to New York. Yeah. He was a big piece that would have been able to match up pretty effectively against Hall, you would think. So him not available. Coach Joe Salerno on the Magic Time podcast actually mentioned yesterday that he felt that Kevin Farrell-Thomas could see some more minutes tonight.
Yeah, and it's out of necessity. You can't be playing Denzel with three at this juncture without Anthony Cox on the bench to go to.
And there's the running back, Terry Thomas again. Couldn't get the result that he wanted. Horton back the other way. Horton outside for Arsenault. He's money from there. Couldn't get that one. He had the look, just couldn't hit the shot. This is Morrow. Ball movement now to the other side. They'll bounce it down low to Kyle Arsenault. He spins around, and he put that shot up and over, and Jeremy Williams between the legs. Cute little pass there to double A.
And I'm shocked that they didn't go to Hall down low against Denzel.
Anthony Anderson bounces it to Terry in the corner, and Terry Thomas hits the three. They needed that one from the corner, and Terry likes it.
He was able to get his feet set there and step into it was Terry, and a beautiful setup from double A.
And bulling his way into the paint was Morrow. Tried to kick it over to the side into the hands of Miles, but we're going to get the foul call.
Yeah, that's a tough call there, too. I don't know what the concern was there with that play. Jeremy seemed to have his hands straight up.
So that's the first on Jay Will. Miles out of the ball game. Back onto the floor is 24, Justin Hurt. 4:26 to go in the half. It's a 52-45 lead, and the lead's been hovering between 2 and 7 here for most of this second quarter.
Yeah, and KW again, like they got down early here by 10, brought it back a little bit, got down by 12 again, and reeled it back in again. They've been real resilient here these last couple nights.
There's Hurt. Corner baseline shot, no good. Gets his own rebound, takes it in strong. Farrell-Thomas was underneath. And I think we're going to have another foul on Moncton.
And that's just a careless missed box out there. Terry Thomas in the corner. You got to pin Hurt. He's going to throw it up, get him pinned. He's just able to walk right back in, pick up his own miss.
So that's the first foul on Farrell Thomas, who just checked into the game. That'll send Hurt to the line. Hurt hits the first.
And he's had another slow start tonight, just like he did last night in Halifax. That doesn't cost him quite as much here tonight. Managing to keep it close. Last night they got down 27 before he woke up.
That's just the third point on the night for Hurt. His first trip to the line, he goes 2 of 2 and now has 4 points.
And the curse, there's a Sports Illustrated cover curse. We're going to have to go with the curse of me picking the key players of the game. It's been just a disaster show so far from the Periscope pregame show.
Williams inside to Farrell Thomas, tried to make the move underneath against Arsenault and Morrow.
And this is big for Kevin Farrell Thomas. It's been a dozen, 15 games since he's played any minutes of consequence for this team. And so this is a big, big moment for him. Take advantage. And tomorrow night, too, with Anthony Cox being out tomorrow night, he'll have a couple of back-to-back games here probably to get some minutes and prove himself.
And by all accounts, he's been a great teammate and has been every bit a part of this team, even though, as you said, he hasn't really played those minutes of consequence. Kevin, 6'8", 270 out of Toronto, Ontario, attended Western Missouri and gets a good trip to the line there. So sometimes a trip to the foul line, too, can help ease you into a flow.
Yeah, for sure. And the guys do talk in glowing terms about Kevin in practice. He works really hard.
Here's Hurt. Goes to the right, goes to the left. Shot's no good. Terry grabs the rebound, and here he comes. Look at Terry. Run, run, run. Goes to the right hand off the glass. Farrell Thomas, rebound. Goes to the left, can't get it. A big battle underneath. Hall was there. Almond now from outside. Corey hits. What a sequence, and Corey finishes it with a triple.
And that was good. That was excellent work down there by Kevin Farrell Thomas in that exchange. He kept the play alive. Missed a bunny, but again got his hand on that rebound as well.
All kinds of arms and legs were intertwined. A nice pass. Look at that. Derek Hall with the feed inside and Morrow with the easy bucket, but nice pass from the big man.
And Coach Salerno made the motion with his hands to talk. That was just a little bit of a miscommunication by Kevin Farrell Thomas there and Corey Allman, and that's what happens sometimes when your minutes aren't consistent.
Tried to take it inside. Terry lost it. Horton now on the quick fast break the other way, and up off the glass goes Ed Horton, the young man from Shreveport, Louisiana, with some sweet southern music there.
Yeah, real careless turnover there by Terry. He'd like that one back. That was no chance of getting through to Farrell Thomas.
56-51, 5-point lead for the Magic. 2:37 to go in the half. Anthony kicks it. Corner for Jay Will. Shot's no good. Hurt, the only one there. He gets the rebound. And here come the Titans. Hurt surveys, bounces it inside to Hall, and Hall again underneath. He was covered by 2 players, but uses every bit of that 7-foot frame to get the shot to drop.
And the Magic are getting outworked a little bit in the transition game. There's no doubt about it.
Coach Cavell Johnson up off the bench with the rest of his staff, liking what they see. They've cut it now to 3 points. They're chipping away once again, 56-53, and you're right. Credit to the Kitchener-Waterloo Titans here on the road, coming off a tough game last night in Halifax, having to make the trip up here to Moncton. Back-to-back games. Moncton's had a week off to run through their sets, get their practices in, and right now, the Titans on the road, down by 3 late in the first half. That's not a bad way to be.
Well, Moncton early was getting some runouts off of KW turnovers, and it's the other way right now, and the runouts are going the way of KW, and Justin Hurt, he's struggling a little bit tonight. I said in the pregame, he didn't have a big game, then KW would struggle here, but the Derek Hall combination down low has been too tough to handle for the Magic to pull away here, and it's gotten consistent scoring from lots of other sources as the KW as well, and that's going to be going the other way.
And they're saying foul before the shot against Moncton, so a turnover now and a chance for Kitchener-Waterloo if they can hit a tray, what they've shown they can do. We might be tied here.
And Coach Salerno is really in the ear of one specific ref here that he feels has been calling a pretty tight whistle on a couple of these screens and sort of things, movements of the Magic.
Morrow faked the pass, takes it himself, spins in the paint. Little tip back was there. And now just a 1-point game, 56-55.
That's too easy, giving him that type of position and going for that easy shot fake.
Great pass and the miss underneath as Jennings tried to jam it from the baseline. but just a little bit of a mishandle there, and a chance now for Kitchener-Waterloo to take their first lead.
I think he's kind of in his head a little bit at this point, as Brent struggled for 5 or 6 games now, really getting his game off, and I think he's in his own head.
Shot clock winding down, 5 seconds on it. Here's Hall. Spins away from the double team. Sutherland with the awkward looking shot. Gets it to drop. Sutherland hits the deck. The ball hits the bucket. And the Titans take the lead.
And they are fired up. They are fired up. They're playing as a team. They're playing together. They got spirit. And they're just a more emotional, into it team at the moment.
And another shot from distance. No good. And here come the Titans now looking to extend that lead. They are leading for the first time in the ball game, and we're late in the half. Here's Hall. Shot bounces off the iron. Jennings grabs the rebound and puts it in the hands of AA, Anthony Anderson. 20 seconds to go. About a 2-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Moncton will take this down as much as they can so they don't give Kitchener-Waterloo any time to get a possession. Under 10 to go. AA to Williams, puts it up, hand in his face, rolls around. They've got time, 2 seconds. Morrow's got to hurry, and he couldn't go quick enough. The buzzer sounds to end the half, but the half ends. A late surge by the Titans, Dave, and they have taken their first lead of the game, and they're going to take the lead into the locker room at the half, 58-56.
34 second quarter points, and if I'm Coach Joe Salerno, I am... When these guys get in that locker room, I'm already on page 2 of the riot act to these guys for that performance in the second quarter. I mean, the cuts are sharper for KW. The defensive communication's better. The team plays better. The spirit is better. The intensity's higher. Everything, check off all those boxes, and KW is carrying the play in all sorts of ways, and you can see how into it they are, and they're playing together and playing with, like I say, a lot of spirit, and there's just no counter reaction from the Magic there in that second quarter.
Well, and sometimes if you think that when you'll hear commentators in basketball say a team has gone cold from the floor, if you don't think that has impact, just looking at the pure numbers, both teams put up almost the exact same number of shots. Kitchener-Waterloo put up 48 shots from the floor, Moncton 47. The biggest difference is, and they were identical in 3-point shots, they both made 8, but right now, Kitchener-Waterloo shooting just under 46% from the floor, and Moncton just over 38, and you add it all up, and it's a big second quarter for Kitchener-Waterloo and a 2-point lead, 58-56, so a very good half on the road for Kitchener-Waterloo. Tremere Sutherland with 12 points, as well as Derek Hall. They led scoring for Kitchener-Waterloo, and on the Moncton side of the ball, Corey Almond with a surge. He's got 18 in the game. Terry Thomas has been stuck on 10 for quite some time.
Yeah, and they started settling. They went away. Early they were playing with a lot. Like there was a lot of talking on defense, a lot of defensive communication, a lot of intensity. They were getting their hands on things. They were getting out and running. They were being really aggressive, and then they just got passive, and KW just lifted that spirit and started running by them and moving at a quicker pace, and the Magic almost just got stuck in the mud, and it was an ugly quarter, and Coach Salerno's got a lot to get on them about in that locker room.
Well, he's going to be giving them their marching orders, and marching to the floor right now. They did the national anthem, and they're going to entertain the fans here at the Coliseum at halftime.
The king of the segues strikes again.
It's the 1-2-2 Moncton and the 2-9-2 Coverdale Sea Cadets. So we'll step aside, take a break, while the 1-2-2 Moncton and the 2-9-2 Coverdale Sea Cadets march their way into the halftime. We'll step aside. Second half in about 12 minutes, 58-56. Titans lead the Magic. We are just about set to go here in the second half of action. We're live at the Moncton Coliseum. It's Moncton Magic Basketball via NBL Canada. I'm Scott Squires, along with my broadcast partner Dave Tingley. And, you know, we talked after the first quarter how it was a pretty good start, a pretty good opening quarter for the Moncton Magic, shaking off that kind of an icky performance last week, for lack of a better word, against the Halifax Hurricanes.
No, icky's good.
You know, they lost 81-73, but, you know, they came out first quarter. But what did you see as the biggest difference in the second quarter that allowed Kitchener-Waterloo to come all the way back and go into the half with the 58-56 lead?
It's superior intensity, effort, execution, hustle. I mean, put any of those words together, and it was superior, better, just a superior job done by KW in that second quarter. It's cut and dry. It's very simple. The Magic came out like a house on fire. They were moving their feet. They were getting up and down the floor. They were forcing turnovers. They were being aggressive going to the hoop. And KW just flipped the switch, and it's a complete 180. And the Magic were back on their heels that entire second quarter and didn't recover.
Listen, not the first rodeo for Coach Joe Salerno. He's not the winningest coach in the NBL for no reason. He knows how to make adjustments. But from your vantage point, what are one or two adjustments that you'd like to see the Magic make coming out in the third quarter?
Well, it's got to be the talk's got to be about defense, and what are we doing? Is it communication? Is it matchups? What is it that we need to change to play better defense? Because it was really, and it's got to start with transition. Derek Hall was doing some rim runs, but even when he wasn't getting the ball, just a couple of quick passes, and they were finding guys for easy opportunities in the paint. And when guys caught the ball, I mean, guys were posting up. Greg Morrow got an easy post up there, and he's not a post-up player. So it's really about unlocking the defense a little bit. And Corey Allman made some threes in that first half and had a good opportunity. That was a good shot. Corey's upset with himself for not making it, but that was a good start to the half. Missed shot, but it was good execution. Now see what they can execute down here on this end of the floor.
Yeah, Corey made a surge and led all scorers in that half. Here's Hall. He had a great impact for the Titans in that first half. Got shut down a little bit there. Anthony back the other way. Gets it to Williams all the way. Jay Will with a big-time thrill for the Coliseum fans.
And the second half starts like the first half did for the Magic energy-wise, and Jay Will with a jackhammer down the runway.
Here come the Titans now. Hurt trying to put a little hurt on the rim, and he gets the nice little roll around, and the bucket goes.
Straight live drive from him. That's too easy. Going left baseline, getting all the way to the rim to lay it in. That's not the kind of defensive energy the Magic need to show here in this half, and it's KW back up 2.
So Terry Thomas gives it into Denzel Taylor. He takes it down low post, spins around, puts the shot up, can't get it to drop. Horton with the rebound. Here come the Titans now. Titans now, of course, going left to right on your screen. Magic right to left in this second half. It's a 60-58 lead for the visitors from Kitchener-Waterloo. Hurt kicks it all the way out. This is Morrow now. Morrow slashes his way into the paint, goes left hand, and a nice look there from Greg Morrow.
And again, a messy closeout comes back to haunt you, and that was another one there. Morrow, real smart, stayed on his feet, good shot fake, made his way around and finished at the rim with the left hand.
Anthony Anderson, speaking of left hand, Denzel tries for the tap back underneath. Hall was right there.
Good effort by Denzel, but that's another thing that I noticed kind of in the second half too, as part of that effort. KW had multiple guys crashing the glass, and Magic again were one shot and out.
From the baseline, shot is good. Terry Thomas with the bucket.
And Terry had his feet set there. Again, had to shoot over Derek Hall with an outstretched hand, but he's really confident moving to his right on that, even on that pull-up.
Hurt had that skim right across the top of the basket, but then the big 7-foot Hall comes in and gets the little tap back.
And again, that's why you work so hard to create opportunities in the lane, because even if you miss, if you attract other guys, big guys like Derek Hall there to clean up your messes.
Anthony takes it in strong. And not unlike we've seen in other games where things start to maybe go off the rails a little bit offensively for Moncton, we'll see Anthony Anderson and then at some points Al Stewart as well come in and try to play that kind of slash and burn game where they try to take it strong to the hoop and try to get everybody to commit to them and turn momentum around that way.
As AA steps to the line here, he's got 7 assists on the game, and as he misses that first one, he is still scoreless. So Double A's got to turn up the heat a little bit offensively to get his game going. Gets off the schneid with that one.
64-61. Early stages, quarter 3. Horton, and the foul called going to be on Hall.
And the Magic got a couple of those chicken wing calls in the first half, so they'll be clapping their hands to see the Titans get one going the other way.
Corey gets it to Double A, Anthony Anderson. Anthony takes a peek now, goes to his left. Back the other way, Terry, top of the key. Dribble drive, goes to the bucket, off glass and in. Terry Thomas, nice look there from Lucky 13 in gray.
That's more like it. Get that first look. Be slashing to the hoop, using that athleticism. Very few guys in the league can stay in front of Terry with a head of steam like that.
Morrow in a crowd, spins around, steps back, shot short. Terry with the rebound, a little help on the rebound underneath from Jay Will. Jeremy Williams did a good job there with Terry underneath, and now Terry Thomas has the ball in his hands for the Magic. 12 seconds on the shot clock. Terry steps back against the much bigger Hall. Nice pass to Williams, and Williams leans in and gets the floater to go.
That's gorgeous by Terry. Good recognition, saw that play. 2 plays ahead, and he recovers, and that should be Moncton ball as well. But they call the foul. Oh my. That's a tough one, but he said he caught him on the back of the head, which is certainly possible. Just look from here like it was so clean, but.
So they're going to call that on Anthony Anderson. That's his 3rd. So a couple of players now in the lineup for Moncton with 3 fouls, and we're just early in the 3rd quarter. Morrow to the line. Morrow, a product of U Sports in Canada, attended Western University.
It's telling that Denzel came out of the locker room to start. That shows how key he is to defending Derek Hall.
Williams from downtown, Jay Will, yet another thrill.
He's feeling himself in this quarter. He's come out big, and again, sometimes, as goes Jay Will, so goes the Magic sometimes, and when he's having big quarters like this, it really can make the difference, and he's turned a deficit into a lead here for the Magic as Jay Will.
Here's Hall.
The thrill.
Indeed he is. Hall, nice hands from Denzel Taylor. Good recovery by Ed Horton, though, for the Titans. Here's Morrow. He's played well so far for the Titans tonight. Dishes to Hurt. Hurt into the air, tried to get it into the hands of Hall, and they're going to call the foul underneath. Cavell Johnson in the air, the official now is he not happy with the call.
And that's the reaction sometimes that coaches have. They see the result is Denzel lying on the turf underneath the hoop, but he was well outside the circle when he took that one on the numbers from Justin Hurt.
So that's the first foul on Justin Hurt. Corey Allman tries to get Hurt to commit, steps inside. Corey from about 18 feet. He doesn't have to call anybody because that wasn't long distance enough, but it's still 2 points for the Magic. They extend the lead to 6.
I don't know how the scouting report for Corey Allman hasn't gotten back to everybody in the league, even in Ontario, because that is, he's not going to shoot that going right. He wants to bring that back left where he's comfortable to shoot that shot.
Great ball movement here, the kick out to Morrow, and then over onto the side. Sutherland with the long-range jumper, and again, Tremere Sutherland. Nice stroke there from number 9 in blue.
He's made a couple of those in your eye.
Anderson takes it strong, baseline, kicks it, corner for Corey. Corey now will just bounce pass it back to Double A.
Oh.
Thomas wide open for 3. Terry, front of the rim. He wanted it, didn't get it. Sutherland back the other way. Tremere Sutherland coast to coast off the front of the rim. Terry was there. Hall follows up. Rebound chance. Anderson grabs it. He's got Corey in the open floor. Thomas catches up. Corey from outside. Corey Allman. Ring, ring, ring. Pick it up. It's Corey Collin from downtown.
Double A is dropping dimes all over the court tonight. He's not scoring the ball, but he's setting people up.
We've got a fun one going here at the Coliseum. Titans and the Magic. Hope you're enjoying it wherever you're tuned in here on our NBL Canada broadcast from Moncton. Scott Squires, Dave Tingley, and our Moncton Magic crew. 73-67, 6:29 to go in the 3rd quarter, and we are having fun.
Double A, only 1 point on the night, 0 for 3 from the floor, but can I interest you in 11 assists already for the leading scorer in league history? And Corey with 6 threes now and 23 points on the night.
Look at Hall, spin, move, baby, skyhook. Gets his rebound back, bounce pass to Hurt. Hurt, awkward looking shot, no good. Williams Great body control to come in and get that rebound. And Anthony Anderson now dribbles it up the floor. Kick to Thomas. Thomas, strong move baseline. He gets hacked there by Hall. They're going to say no basket. And they'll give it to Moncton out of bounds, but that's another foul on Hall.
KW is begging for the benefit of the whistle at the other end of the floor. They really feel like they're getting hacked and not getting called, but the whistles seem pretty fair for me tonight, if I had to say. But I mean, if you keep taking, you can't get discouraged. Keep taking it into the glass, take it into the glass. You take it in there enough, you're going to start getting calls.
14 on the shot clock. Williams looking where to go with it now. Gives it to Corey Almond. Terry Thomas steps to his right and gets that one to go. Terry Thomas again.
Now Terry Thomas moving to the right off those pin down screens. He's going to rise and fire. Unlike Corey Almond, you see how that repetitive motion that the Magic do, those double screens and guys following each other, can be really effective.
Quick ball movement around the perimeter again by the Titans. Sutherland, corner for Morrow. Sutherland with the tap back. That is a great play right there by Tremar Sutherland, as he just had the open palm and almost paddock caked that ball into the basket.
How smart is Tremar Sutherland? He's just such a clever guy.
Here's Terry Thomas now. Thomas catching fire here the last few minutes. Look at Terry. Goes in against Morrow, right hand, and Hall grabs the rebound. Sutherland back the other way. 3-on-3, Sutherland bumps into Corey, gives it off to Horton, and Horton hits it from outside the arc, and now it's the Titans' turn to get the offense going.
Tremar just making plays all over the place for the KW Titans, one of the best Canadians in the league, and there goes Anthony to work. But a great help from Morrow coming over and bothering that shot.
And Sutherland now again, quick zip over into the corner. Morrow wide open, thought about it for about 87 minutes, and then puts the shot up and in.
And the Magic are paying for their misses at the offensive end if they are not getting on their horse and getting back. And transition D, they're paying. KW's making them pay.
Jeremy Williams all the way over to Anderson. He's way out high. Sutherland comes out. Now Denzel runs a little screen. Jeremy, hand in his face for three. Jeremy Williams, my. He's going to Memphis, Tennessee, and it must be outside the arc because that's where he hits from.
And what a thrill it's been to watch Jeremy perform in the third quarter. That's 2 threes already and a big dunk.
Here's Sutherland now trying to answer back. I think that shot was deflected just a little. Here comes Anthony Anderson, off glass and in. Nice fast break, good transition, and the bucket from Double A.
And Double A with the offense, with the defense at one end and finishing the play at the other.
Hurt from the corner, too strong, tapped down. Morrow tried to reach it, but it'll get turned over, and it'll be Magic ball. 3:44 to go here in this third quarter. It's an 80-74 lead, and the native of Memphis, Tennessee, Jeremy Williams, having himself a good quarter.
Yeah, that's, by my count, 10 in the quarter for J-Will. 2 threes, a big dunk, and another finish. But Anthony Anderson starting to get things cooking a little bit. And like I say, 12 assists now he's up to on the game. And when he's not creating a lot of offense for himself, but he's certainly setting other people up. And they're going to need more of that because KW, like I say, this transition offense that they're making Moncton pay for every mistake they made at the offensive end.
And as we look at some of the highlights here, there's Williams hitting one of his shots from downtown. But, you know, we talked about it on the Periscope pregame, and I don't know if we touched about it so much on this main broadcast, but this Kitchener-Waterloo team, a record of 5-23. It's my first time seeing them up close and personal like this. And we talked about it on the Periscope Twitter pregame, how a lot of folks around the NBL have said that if you just look at this team on paper and the talent they had, you would almost be shocked that they're a 5-win only team. And getting to watch them again, I know it's only the third quarter. We still got lots of basketball to go, but I am also surprised that this team wouldn't have more than 5 wins. They seem athletic. They seem to be very well in tuned on offense. They can play defense. They got that big man Hall, who is a magician.
And they're missing 2 starters right now. Keep that in mind as well. Darren Duncan would normally be their starting point guard in this lineup, and well, I mean, you're right. It's a little bit of a surprise. Oh yeah, I have Kevin Rogers as well. He's the other name that I didn't mention. So yeah, 2 starters, and their transition is really carrying the day so far. Now, keep in mind, the stat that I was just looking at was at one point in the first quarter, I can't remember, it wasn't the end of the first quarter. It was roughly, I think, 8 minutes in to this game. KW had 5 turnovers that the Magic, and it was a timeout, and I imagine the Magic had turned those into 10 points. Since then, they've only turned the ball over twice. So it's really something that they've taken care of the ball better, gotten shots every time down the floor, and made a bunch of them.
Look at Terry, takes it in against the big man Hall. Terry Thomas says, I don't care if you're 7 feet tall, try to guard this.
Well, if you're going against a 7-footer, try to use the rim as an additional shield, and that's what's so effective about going to that reverse that he did. And it was a pretty finish from Terry.
Hall over to Horton, hand in his face from Caliste. Back iron, rebounded by Terry. All ahead to Caliste, off the glass and in. Great feed there from Thomas to a wide open Caliste.
I'm not sure what Horton's complaining about. There was no contact there from Caliste. He went down trying to get one from the refs, but that was just good defense from Jason. And he got the earn the hoop going the other way.
Miles, they do a little sweet Georgia Brown now outside the top of the three-point line as the Titans pass it around. Inside to Hall, leans in off the glass, little touch to get it back in. Hard to stop that when you got a big man like that coming toward the basket.
And people wonder why you do that weave when players are just everybody's switching at the top. It doesn't look like it's getting, but every time you move that ball from side to side, it creates the opportunity for someone to miss a rotation on the weak side.
And there's Al Stewart. Let me add another name to his nickname list, something I've called him for a couple of years covering him, the microwave, because he heats up so very quick. Also, the spark plug, because he has a way of coming in and igniting an offense very quickly. He's on the floor now, and the move he just made there is what he typically does when he's trying to help spark the Moncton Magic offense. He'll just kind of, like a water bug, dash in through the paint.
The water bug. There's another one.
There's another one. I think he's up to 47 nicknames now.
Grief. Okay, I got to start writing these down.
Maybe they should change the name of the movie 47 Ronin to 47 Nickname and make it about Al Stewart. 2:27 left to go, quarter number 3. Al from the line, looking to make it a double-digit lead again. Bounces it in, and it is indeed 10-point advantage for the Magic. 86-76, 2:23 on the clock, quarter 3.
47 Ronin is not Al's favorite movie. We'll get to that in a minute. He filled us in on what that was before the game.
Here's Hall. Thought about the shot. Baines made him think otherwise. Tried to bounce it inside. Good defense. Tapped away. Jeremy Williams brings it straight ahead. Thomas wide open for 3. Bounces it off the iron. Hall, no problem there as he was the only one underneath the bucket. Gets the defensive rebound.
On a 5-on-4 break like that with a guy stuck back, you gotta, I know it's a wide open 3, but these guys have been so effective going to the glass. Got to get something better than a Terry Thomas 3.
Dominic Phillips in a crowd now kicks it out to Sutherland. That shot's off the mark. Terry with the rebound. Stewart up ahead. Here's Al. Stops, puts it off the glass and in. And there it is, the spark plug doing what he does, getting things going on the offense.
Now it's the Magic making the Titans pay for every mistake they make on offense. And this has been kind of the flow. The first quarter was the Magic with their fast break points. And since then it had been Titans, but it's swinging back the other way there now. And
Dominic Phillips down to the floor. Terrell Baines out on the floor now. And Terrell asked us to wish a very special 72nd birthday to Granny Janey. So Terrell on the floor now. Coach Salerno was just down giving a couple of words across the floor to Terrell. So Granny Janey, from your wonderful grandson Terrell, and also from all of us here with the Moncton Magic, a very happy 72nd birthday. 72 years young. That's pretty cool.
Now you promised that you would sing Happy Birthday.
I will.
You said that to Terrell that you would sing her Happy Birthday.
Next stoppage, Granny Janey. You're getting. I can't promise it'll be good singing, but I'm going to sing Happy Birthday to you. Al Stewart now. 1:15 on the clock, and Al, he can do this from time to time. No good on that one. Terrell underneath gets the little sky hook. No good, but he does indeed draw the foul. And with Terrell drawing the foul, why not take that moment to sing Happy Birthday? All right, Janey, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Terrell's grandmother, Granny Janey. Happy 72nd. Happy birthday to you and many more. There, as promised, so delivered.
Attaboy.
And at this point, Granny Janey may have turned off the volume.
I wouldn't blame her.
Terrell at the line, and there's a birthday gift for Granny Janey.
And before we get too far, we should offer some condolences to the London Lightning family, too, Scott. We're the only people on the air tonight in this league, and the owner, Vito Frias, his father, Camillo, I think is the correct pronunciation on that, passed away. So our condolences to the London Lightning family here from Moncton as well, and I'm sure the KW family is joining us in their condolences to London.
Certainly second that from all of us here and on the broadcast and with the Moncton Magic family indeed. There's a step up there and a good stroke from Phillips as he hits the bucket. Under a minute to go here in the third quarter. 10-point lead for the Magic, 90-80. Here's Williams being guarded by Miles. Williams cuts in, takes it in hard underneath, and Miles was there along with Nigel Titer as well.
When Jay Will gets that swagger going, when he's had a good run, and I'm not sure what Coach Johnson is complaining about on the foul call there. That was clearly contact from Jay Will. I mean, he created it, but he danced into the lane, and that's the price you pay.
Well, it's funny, the ebb and flow of this game.
It is.
They're late in that second quarter, the body language and the facial expressions of Moncton, you could tell that they were down and frustrated. Now it's completely reversed. Now, looking at the body language and the facial expression of the Titans players on the floor, it's they're a little bit frustrated, a little bit at odds with what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. And they've. I wished we don't have a running total for fast break points. That's the one thing that we're missing. I think those totals would be so high. We've had some Showtime end-to-end action here a little bit.
Great kick out over into the corner. Shots long, though. Morrow with the rebound. Spins around, and a great work underneath from Greg Morrow. His excellent game continues here for the Titans.
He's kind of, I like to call these guys, there's it's a term that I steal from Sports Illustrated writer that does a glue guy team every year.
And look at Terry Thomas. Oh my goodness, almost taking the entire KW Titans defense with him into the paint. And the quarter comes to an end, and on that nice drive through a crowd by Terry Thomas, a bit of an exclamation point put on a very good third quarter for Moncton.
Yeah, very good last half of that third quarter for sure.
They took a 2-point deficit to start the third quarter and have turned it into an 11-point lead going into the fourth.
Yeah, and little underrated thing at the end of that quarter there. That ball went through the hoop with about 6 seconds left on the clock, and Al Stewart, you'd think, especially at the pace that this game's been played at, 6 seconds would be plenty of time to get from one end to the other and get a shot attempt. Al Stewart did his best yeoman's work there, denying that inbounds. Wasted 5 full seconds almost before they got it inbounds, and they had no chance to get any opportunity going the other way. So just a little piece there, that won't go into the stats record that Al will do for you.
Well, it's interesting. At the end of the first half, we talked about how both teams have taken almost the exact same number of shots, but Moncton's shooting percentage was so much lower. That's turned around now. Moncton is up just over 46% from the floor, and KW still good at 44.4. But again, a lot of easier buckets and the fast break points help, but just overall that shooting percentage much better for the Moncton Magic. Leading the way scoring-wise for the Titans, Tremar Sutherland with 17, Derek Hall with 16, and for the Moncton Magic, Corey Allman continues to lead all scorers with 23. Terry Thomas with 20, Jeremy Williams with 17.
We talk about the explosiveness and how this league is a league of runs, and there's nothing more emblematic of that statement than this game tonight. With 4 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in that quarter, Greg Morrow made a jump shot that cut it to 75-74, and then from the last 4.5 minutes, Moncton outscored KW 18-8. So this is the run that we're on that they're going to carry forward into the fourth quarter, and Coach Salerno was really intense in that third quarter break with his guys. He wants them to put the pedal to the floor here. Let's not have these runs, because it's been a game of runs. Let's try to see what we can do about stepping on their necks here and silencing these Titans, because they've been fighting hard and battling hard all game. Try to keep them down here.
So we get ready to start quarter number 4. Titans to inbound. They trail by 11, 93-82.
And it's a deep squad of reserves that the Titans are starting this fourth quarter with Phillips, guys like Phillips and Titer and Arsenault back on the floor.
Keep an eye on
James and Miles.
Keep an eye on Kyle Arsenault from outside, 15 and blue, as Phillips hits the 21-footer.
And he's heating up. 6 quick ones here for Phillips since he's come back in.
So Magic will bring it up. Al Stewart out there with Jeremy Williams, Terrell Baines, Jason Caliste, and Corey Allman. Lots of long-range threats on the floor right now, and here's one of them, Caliste, front of the rim, back of the rim, rebounded by Titer, and now it's Dominic Phillips. Arsenault's in the corner, but Phillips steps up again. He must have been feeling it. Rebounded there, stepping back is Arsenault. He's dangerous. Shot off the front of the rim. Corey with the rebound. Moncton up the other way. Al saves that from going out of bounds, and now throws it over to Williams. Corey Allman steps in, puts the shot up, and again he hit there from there a little bit earlier, and money again for Corey.
Going to the left when Corey's going left. He loves it.
And going underneath the basket was Anthony Miles. He tried to get it back out to the top for Arsenault, but ended up throwing it away. So the Magic will inbound. Just a little over 10:52 to go. So we're very early in this fourth. 95-84, 11-point lead. Magic. Allman kicks it out. Kalist wide open,
Nice
plants
look.
the feed, puts it up. Kalist is Cathreist.
Corey Allman with the gorgeous setup. Put the ball on the floor and sucked the defense in and got it to Kalist.
And Phillips going in against Baines. Again, we've seen a few times Phillips leads the game in awkward-looking body position when he puts the ball up, but he just kind of finds a way to get it up there.
I don't see that in the stats comparison. Awkward body position.
I think it's page 3.
Is it page 3? Oh, I got to
down.
keep scrolling. That is some advanced metrics that we're getting into there.
Phillips bounces the first one off the back of the rim.
Is that like whip in baseball? Is that like you're going into some real big metrics there, some physics?
Yes, it is. It all started, I believe, with Billy Bean back in the
yeah.
Oakland A days, back in the Moneyball days, and they translated it from baseball to basketball.
All right.
10:20 to go. Williams sees the opportunity. Williams, side of the iron. Arsenault was there, contested it just a little bit. Dominic Phillips back the other way. What kind of body position will he have this time? Well, it's called turnover. And here's Corey in the open floor. Corey glassing in.
Corey Allman has been a scorer tonight for the Magic in that role that he's needed. He's been kind of quiet some games lately. Made some threes. Hasn't been as explosive, but tonight absolutely as explosive. And there's Terrell Baines taking one of the numbers.
Terrell just sits down, gives the old thighs and the knees a rub, and says, "Oh, that was fun." Nigel Titer, big man, 6'7", but 250 pounds. That's a big collision going in to Terrell Baines, who's no small man himself at 225.
Nope. He's smarting a little bit as he comes out. But
it's a slap on the chest from Coach Salerno.
Which probably isn't the place he wanted to slap on the slap, but
here's Denzel Taylor, 15-point lead now, largest lead of the game for either team, and right now it's the Magic who enjoy it. That ball goes out of bounds, off of Jennings. Jennings says no way, that one off of Kyle Arsenault, but nope, referees side with the Titans. Arsenault to inbound, and this is Ed Horton. Now Phillips again. Al Stewart guarding Phillips. Denzel comes over to help. Back to Al now. Al right on top of him. Hall swings it over. Putting it on the floor is Horton. Takes it into the paint. Goes up. He'll draw the foul.
But how anyone gets a shot off in a pick and roll when Al Stewart and Denzel Taylor are guarding it, I'd like to know. That's just not a good option, but that's why it's all the more troublesome for your defense when a simple swing and a straight line drive gets a shot opportunity for KW. So that's got to kind of tighten those things up if you're a Magic fan. When you look at this game tape, I think that'll be something that Coach Salerno picks on.
So that foul on Corey Allman, his second. Horton good on the second attempt. These two teams in their last 10, Kitchener-Waterloo 2-8 in their last 10, including 3 in a row on the losing column. The Moncton Magic 6-4 in their last 10, but again, as mentioned earlier, both of these teams coming off a loss to the Halifax Hurricanes.
Justin Hurt back in, and he has not been the story that KW's needed in this game.
Kalist tried to get that tough shot off. It was no good. Both of these teams, their last game for the Kitchener-Waterloo, as mentioned, it was just last night, a 122-112 loss to Halifax. And last week, 81-73, Magic losing to Halifax. Here's Phillips. Again, there's that combination of Stewart and Taylor defensively. Horton from well outside. And Taylor right there as he watches it go out of bounds right in front of the Derek Hall.
As I mentioned, Justin Hurt was my key player for KW. I said he'd have to have a big game to keep KW in it. He's going to have a big turns his fortune around and have a big last 8.5 here to get KW back in it. He's just 2 for 12 in the game for 6 points.
Caliste gets it into Jennings. Jennings backing in the defender. Brent Jennings gets the shot up there as Justin Hurt defensively was right on top of him, and Hurt is going to collect the foul.
That's what I like to see from Brent there. I wanted to see that one go down, have him see one go through the hoop. Brent's been struggling, but that's a good way to get him going. Get him a post up down there against a guy he can manhandle, and he certainly did so to Justin Hurt there.
So Brent Jennings looking to connect from the free throw line, hits the first, and again, we've said it before, but it's worth mentioning. Sometimes when a player is struggling offensively, a trip to the line and hitting a couple of shots can kind of turn it around for you.
A layup can turn it around for you. Just see the ball go through the hoop, and it does a wonder for your psyche sometimes.
So Jennings 1 for 2 on that trip, 101-87, 14-point advantage for the Magic here, 8:23 to go in the fourth. Sutherland, he's had a pretty effective game now, puts it into the hands of Hurt. Hurt goes behind the back, takes it out top of the key, swings it over there for Phillips. Dominic Phillips puts it up long distance, well off the mark.
Great defensive possession there for the Magic. They had nothing going.
Here's Al Stewart up against Horton. Al, the veteran, stops over for Jennings. Look at Brent putting it on the floor again. Left hand glass, Brent Jennings.
That's more. Deterrent for Hall down low, and Derek Hall has not had a huge second half, pardon me, after a pretty massive free. He already had a double-double at halftime, did Derek Hall, and he's had a quieter second half.
First trip to the line for Denzel. He's 0 for 2 on that trip, has 6 points on the night, does number 5 in gray for the Magic. Quick out now for Sutherland, gets it into Hall. Hall backing in Taylor. Taylor
another
again.
Steal.
Great hands, and here comes the spark plug. Al Stewart gets the hoop, gets the herm, and the spark plug is going to go to the line.
And there you go, Denzel with back-to-back steals. That's at least 4 for the game for him. And that's the kind of thing. His effort and his denial to Derek Hall has been a difference.
Well, listen, Al Stewart working up an appetite. He's going to have to make a trip back home to Chicago and go have some of that Johnny's Italian beef that he's so fond of. He tells me it's in the western suburbs of Chicago, and he says he loves it.
And an ice. He needs to get that man an ice to go with it.
Get an Italian ice.
Italian ice, absolutely.
Listen, Al is always an energetic, excited guy. When we got him talking about the Johnny's Italian beef back in his hometown of Chicago, that's as excited as I've ever seen him.
Listen, may everyone in their lifetime find someone to talk about them as fondly as Al Stewart spoke about this spot in Chicago.
Oh, his eyes just lit right up, and it was fun. And you know, I've never been to Chicago, but now I almost feel like I need to make a trip just to go hang out with Duty and have some Italian beef. And he tried to explain it. He said it's kind of like a long sub bun, and then I said, is it kind of like Chicago's version or that establishment's version of a Philly cheesesteak? And he said, yeah.
It's like a Chicago Philly cheesesteak.
He said, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Would that get us in trouble calling it a Chicago Philly cheesesteak?
I don't know. I'm not from Philly or Chicago.
I think anyone from anywhere around.
Don't at me.
Right now,
don't at me on Twitter, people. I'm sorry. I don't.
Well, you know something, we we talk and we have a little bit of fun, but what it speaks to is genuinely the great personalities that these players have.
Yeah.
They really are a good bunch of guys.
Yeah.
You know, we're of course talking about the Moncton Magic team because we know them so well, but all of the guys that we meet from around the league, the visiting team, just a really good bunch.
Can you name a bad interaction you've had with a player or a coach in our role so far this year? I certainly can't.
Definitely not.
Yeah, and that goes for home and away. And shout out to the KW Titans organization for setting me up to talk to Coach Johnson for my pregame story for the website there earlier. That was they put a lot of work into that to track Cavell down, and because they've been busy traveling, and it's been a hectic time for them. So my thanks to them for helping us, and they're a really proactive and reactive team, and you can tell the way they handle things on Twitter and the organization as a whole there.
Outside, that shot is good from Hurt, as finally he puts a Hurt on the basket. 106-90.
They're going to need lots more where that came from, and some stops starting right away.
Yeah, time becoming a real factor now for KW. Under 7 minutes to go, 6:53 to be exact, and that'll help the cause as the ball's turned over. As another foul on Denzel, that's his fourth.
And yeah, Denzel easily leads the league in fouls attracted setting screens. There is no doubt in my mind.
Is that another one of those deep analytics? I think that's on page 4.
Yeah, Bill James gave me that one.
Here's Hurt. Just hit that triple. See if that gets him lit up here. Over to Morrow. Morrow takes it in off the dribble, and he gets hacked there by Brent Jennings in the paint.
Yeah, that's a good tough foul from Brent. I mean, you want to send a message. He wasn't beat clean, but certainly you don't want a three-point play out of these opportunities. So, and Coach Salerno telling referee Danny Patterson that they're living in there. He's looking for some 3-second calls out of Derek Hall, I think.
And Greg Morrow hits from the line. As mentioned, Morrow, some of that Canadian content on Kitchener-Waterloo from London, Ontario.
I spoke about him earlier, about him being a kind of a glue guy. He's these kind of guys you need. It does a little bit of everything. He can make a shot, plays defense, get you a rebound. Saw him earlier get an easy hoop on a post-up. He kind of does just a little bit of everything. Jack of all trades, master of none type.
Brent Jennings didn't get a good shot off. Morrow has 14 on the game now.
Denzel Taylor with another hustle play.
Corey for 3. Front of the iron. Morrow jumps in, grabs the rebound. He'll bring it up. Puts it into the hands of Hurt. Hurt working on Allman. Steps back. Shot off glass and in. Nice look there from Justin Hurt, the Kansas City, Missouri native, with the pretty play.
And pulls him back to 12. Just under halfway through the fourth quarter. Certainly a workable deficit for KW.
Denzel Taylor gives it to Corey. Steps back, open for 3. Corey, get out the phone. He's calling again.
Not his favorite move going to the right, but when he can get those feet set.
And Hurt takes it in strong.
Justin Hurt.
He might have heard you there saying that you mentioned him as being a real key for this team, and he needs to get it going. In the last couple of minutes, it certainly has been. 24 in blue, Justin Hurt, who's been putting a little bit of a hurt onto the Magic.
Listen, anything that'll make my pregame key to the game picks look better, I'm all for. So thank you, Justin Hurt, for at least I don't think it's really a factor in his decision to shoot the ball in the basket at all. And Double A back in the game. I haven't seen him in a while. It's a long rest for him.
109-96. It's a 13-point lead for the Magic with 5:40 to go, and Justin Hurt looking to hit, and he does, so that takes it to 97 points now for KW. 5:37 left to play in the fourth quarter. And here's the man you just mentioned back onto the floor. Anthony Anderson puts it in the hands of Jeremy Williams. Bounces it into Terry. Thomas gets it off to Allman. Allman steps up again. Didn't get that one to drop. Morrow, defensive rebound, and here comes Justin Hurt again. Look at Justin weaving through a crowd. Kicks it back out. Kitchener-Waterloo with the nice ball movement. And there is the big man, Derek Hall, like a vacuum, sucking up that rebound and putting it back in.
And again, that first rotation, Denzel comes hard and blocks the shot, but nobody behind him to clean up Derek Hall, and it's back now to a 10-point spread.
Hurt defending, keeping an eye, takes a peek up at the clock. Terry Thomas now stepping back. Horton defending on him. Terry, you know he has a nose for the basket, steps up, puts it up. Only 1 second on the shot clock, and Terry Thomas looks at the fans on the sideline and goes, there you go.
And that was onions from Terry. That was a big one late in the shot clock.
Look at Hurt again, contorting his body midair, and look who's there again to put a fingertip on it and touch it back in. It's Derek Hall.
And again, that first rotation, Denzel comes over and challenges the shot, and nobody behind him. Broken record here in a couple of these rotations from the Magic. You get beat off the dribble. That's the pressure that Justin Hurt puts on you off the bounce.
Denzel puts it into the hands of Terry. Terry, nose down, head down, goes right into the chest of Morrow. And again, the ball is turned over. Now they're going to say that it went off of Terry and Titans ball. And Coach Salerno, arms in the air, didn't like it. Now he's clapping, saying, all right, let's get her going.
That looked like a lot of contact on Terry on the dribble. No call.
So Horton puts it into the hands of Sutherland. Joe Salerno almost right in front of our broadcast position here, hollering to his team defensively. Morrow kicks it to Horton. Horton bounce pass into Hall. Nice little look for Hurt. Back to Hall. They're going to play catch. Back and forth they go. Hurt puts it up, and he hits it, and he says that was 3. And all of a sudden, Justin Hurt, somebody rang the alarm, and he has woken up.
I mean, that is just when you're feeling it, when you know it's going to go in. It doesn't matter how little space you have. It doesn't matter if your feet are set, if you're balanced. Doesn't matter at all. He just threw that up, confident it was going to go down, and there was nothing but mesh.
Between Dominic Phillips and Justin Hurt, these two guys make some of the most acrobatic / awkward looking shot attempts that you'll see, but if it ain't broke, why fix it? And it's effective, and certainly there, Justin Hurt, if you just looked at him and didn't look at the shot at all, you think there's no way he's going to be able to put that ball in, but as you said, he feels confident, he gets it to go, and right now you can just tell by his body language that he wants the ball.
But when he checked back in with about 8 minutes left, so 4.5 minutes ago or so now, when he checked back in, he was 2 for 12 for 6 points, and you look at the score sheet now, and he's creeping up on the leading scorer in the game for KW. He's made 4 or 5 since you check back in, up to 17 on the game, and he's kind of dragging them back here. He and Derek Hall again getting on the offensive glass, and Derek Hall, he's approaching a rarity. Not often you see a 20-20 game, and his next rebound, he's going to be at that mark. So Derek Hall, no doubt in my mind, should be on an all-star team this year. Despite the KW record, got to be on an all-star team, and he's showing why. He's going to have a 20-20 game here tonight.
So what of this Joe Salerno timeout? Let's see what the Magic had. A lead that not that long ago was 16 for Moncton is now down to 7. Anthony Anderson. Williams to Thomas. Thomas, there is that football mentality as Thomas bulls his way into the paint, and he draws the foul. He'll go to the line to shoot 2. And the foul goes on Justin Hurt. And Hurt, what a year he's having. He's leading the Titans in scoring, 18.7 points a game. 3rd on the team in rebounding with 4.5 a game. And actually he was 4th, but their coach, Cavell Johnson, was actually 3rd in rebounding. But I didn't count him because now he's in a suit on the sideline.
And a limited number of games for Cavell too. But and Justin Hurt came to the squad late as well, so he hasn't been with them for the full year. But yeah, they brought him in for scoring purposes, and he's been doing that in bunches.
Terry from the line hits 113-104. A 2-for-2 trip for Terry. Back to a 9-point lead. Horton for Sutherland. 3:22 to go. Time winding down here in this 4th quarter. Here comes Hurt. He's been making it happen. Goes baseline. Bang. That one around. Didn't go.
That was a really tough shot, but he's still in and out for Justin. Everything he throws up there right now, it feels like it's going in. And the Magic doing good work here, taking their time.
Anderson to Thomas. Look at Thomas. Up, under. Shot doesn't go, but again, that aggressive play of Terry draws the defense in, and that aggressive style makes it almost impossible not to foul him.
And the wizardry on the other end of Anthony Anderson, just tricky dribble through there with the left hand, and then just kind of a fake dribble almost, and just left it there, kind of like a hockey player letting the pass go between his legs to the next guy. Kind of what Anthony did there, leaving it for Terry, curling hard. And when Terry, again, when he comes off of that curling right. He's so fast and powerful that even though you know that's where he wants to go, it's so hard to cut him off, like you said, without hitting him.
Yeah. Terry again from the lines. That's a couple of trips to the line for Terry. And it's 115-104 as the lead back up to double digits now. It sits at 11. And a good night from the free throw line for Terry. He's 5 for 6, 25 points now. Second leading scorer in the game for the Magic. Corey Allman right now with 30.
And unlike the other day, we're going to have a tough choice tonight for player of the game here.
Horton spinning, dishing, and traveling. So the turnover. Coach Joe Salerno claps the hands. He likes that one much better. And that's not what you want to do if you're the Titans, is turn the ball over when you're trailing by 11 and you're under 3 minutes.
And it did look like Horton took kind of a 1-2 step on that spin instead of keeping the pivot foot still.
Anthony Anderson. Moncton, you don't think will be too much of a hurry here with their offensive sets. They're in control. They lead by 11 and only 2.5 minutes to go.
They don't want to suck the energy out of the play either. They still want to be aggressive here.
Jeremy Williams gets it back to Anthony Anderson. Double A steps in. Floater goes. Anthony Anderson scoring when it matters most late in the game.
Yeah, just so calm and cool and collected, even if he's struggling.
Baseline kick out over on the side. Wing, no good. And grabbing the rebound was Anthony Anderson. And Derek Hall came over inadvertent, but I think he kind of caught Anthony up around the chin.
Yeah, Anthony's not gonna bicker too much with that. He knows it's all in the run of a game, but those are the plays you can count on Double A making late in late game situations. At one end, he's had a tough night, doesn't matter, gets a tough floater to go. At the other end, sticks his box out, going to the line, kind of clinch the game here. And I think these are kind of dagger free throws here if you're a Moncton fan.
Basketball, of all of the major sports, and I enjoy them all, but it's one of the more interesting games. And by that, you look at numbers so much as we see Anthony Anderson at the line. With 2 minutes and 7 seconds to go in the fourth quarter, Moncton has now scored 45 more points in this game than they did in their last game against Halifax.
Plus, basketball's got a lot of tall guys, too.
Very tall. Here's from the corner, baseline, shot swatted down, but it goes into the hands of Terry Thomas. So Terry, with under 2 minutes to go, will just bring it to a molasses pace here. Over to Jeremy Williams. I thought he was going to miss that. It was going to come right to us.
Yeah, I was wide open, though.
You were. I think he would have had the shot from the sideline for sure. Anderson, speaking of on the line, takes it baseline against the much bigger man and gets the shot to drop. Double A doing what he does when he needs to do it. Here's Hurt back the other way. Justin Hurt with the nice baseline jam.
Now that was putting the Hurt on the rim. That was just so acrobatic. A huge finish. He's had such a big fourth quarter.
Yeah, he's been fun to watch, no question about it. 1:26 to go. Al Stewart getting ready to check back in now for Moncton.
Up to 19 now on the game. 5 for 7 since he checked back in.
Here's Terry again from the line.
As a former player myself, that is so tough to do as a scorer when you're dependent on as a scorer and you've had a tough night to check back into a game at a 2 for 12 spot and pick up that pace right away and try to drag your team back into a game. It's really hard to do, so kudos to him.
That's 7 of 8 from the line for Terry, and that has been a very important part of the game for Terry tonight.
I have to ask you for some input here on player of the game. Are we going to go with Terry, or are we going to go with Corey dialing long distance and knocking him down? I don't know who to go with.
Well, with under a minute and a half to go, 1:22, here's Hurt trying to swing it over. It actually hit the mesh underneath, and Caliste will bring it up the floor. I think for me, I'd lean towards Corey just because he had, I don't want to say struggling, but this was kind of a getting back to what Corey had done during that real good stretch. So I would lean towards Corey Allman. Could he definitely go either way, but I would lean towards Corey just for that reason.
Oh,
and look at that.
Wow.
My goodness, Anthony Anderson in the last few minutes has been electric, and Horton dumps it off, and Morrow hammers it down.
That double A layup hit underneath like that was not at the level of the rim when he kissed it off the backboard. He just put such English on it, such touch from AA to finish it. These closing minutes have been all AA, that's for sure.
It does appear that the Moncton Magic will improve their home record to 12-5, and they'll go to 18-14 overall with only 33 seconds left. Kalist underneath, tried to spin it off the glass, gets a tap back, gets his own rebound. Great work by Jason. Look at him go. The Energizer Kalist under there.
Jason. You don't see Jason smile too much. Look at that. That's the finish that I was talking about. He's had that hang time. He still has that hang time. Does AA after all these years. Here it comes again. Step through. Oof. The English on that to get the finish.
Jason Kalist at the line. I couldn't get the Coliseum roll on that one. 124-108. The end result not in doubt. It will be a home court win for the Moncton Magic, as mentioned, and they will indeed run their record to 12-5 at home. 18-14 overall. Kitchener-Waterloo, a good effort tonight, but they will fall to 5-24. Here comes Hurt. He did all that he could in this quarter to try and bring his team back. That shot's no good underneath. Look at Al Stewart battle for that rebound. And now they'll get to dribble it out. The last 10 seconds, the fans come to their feet and give a great round of applause in appreciation for the effort. And a comical moment there between Al Stewart and Ed Horton.
They seem to be buddies. They were talking before the game. So big effort from Al Stewart, too. He had himself a night. Lots of guys to give praise to tonight. And our player of the game is indeed going to be Corey Allman. Took the advice of my counsel to heart. And we'll talk to the long distance caller, the DC sniper, the man of many nicknames himself, in our post-game show, fans. So stick around. We'll talk to him.
Well, certainly for the Moncton Magic, a very good second half. Things kind of went off the rails for them in that second quarter when Kitchener-Waterloo outscored the Magic 34-20. But the Magic took the third quarter 37-24, and the fourth quarter 32-26. You add it all up, it's a comfortable 125-108 win for the Moncton Magic over the Kitchener-Waterloo Titans. But again, I don't think the score is really indicative of, again, the effort that the Kitchener-Waterloo Titans had on the road in a difficult building to play in.
Oh, for sure. They made them work, and it was Magic got hot here late, and the spread is definitely bigger than the tone of the game, than the pace of the game, and the competitiveness of the game would tell you for sure. So kudos to the Titans for, again, getting down early and coming back and making things interesting, but it's just this hump they can't quite get over, and that's been the kind of the story of their year.
Well, Corey Allman led all scorers in the game with